Welcome back. This is the next stage of making parchment, and we have our hide stretched. You can tell this is a different hide. I did a really good fleshing job, so I'm having a hard time telling the difference between the flesh side and the hair side, which is awesome. This is sheep, so it has some pretty deep veining. This is a round knife from Tandy. Here, I'll go like this. I love the fashionable apron. While the hide is still wet, freshly stretched, I am going to scrape down from the top down. This hide has a lot of holes in it. I want to point out this line of goat here. This is what we're trying to scrape off the top, which is anything that is not actual dermis. You only want the dermal layer left. So this is all connective tissue, what's left of the nervous tissue. So that's what's got to come off there. I actually have my feet underneath the drip area of this. If you don't want your feet to get wet with yuckiness, wear boots. The hide is a little bit bouncy, and that's because this is not super tight right now. The hide is super wet, very saturated. You can actually see the water running off of it. When it starts to dry, I'll make sure I really tighten that. When I'm done with this side of the hide, I'm going to tighten that down. Go to the next side, do it again, tighten it down. When you come to a hole, you want to be careful so it doesn't punch through. This one is probably going to end up with quite a few holes because not the best hide. In period, the person who chose the hides was called an arbiter, but they got paid a very healthy amount of money to pick out the best hides. I did not do that for this project. I took what I could get. I do try to get pretty close to the edge, but you don't have to get way out here. This is all going to get cut off, 1 inch away basically. I just like to work it all the way out. That way I have a good clean edge. You see that milk sheeting off? Not milk. I've got the first round on the flesh side done, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do a second from the top down. I'm not going to film this. There will be a lot less coming off, but I had quite a substantial amount coming off of the bottom, so I'm going to do that again. This takes a long time, and if you have to walk away, don't walk away when this liquid is dropping down your hide. I learned that on my first hide. It will stain it permanently. You cannot get rid of that. So what you need to do is make sure that before you take a break, you go all the way down the hide. Just get rid of that stuff. Don't let that sit on your hide. Gone down the back side of the hide twice. Now what I need to do is I need to tighten the hide. I have this tied in two different ways. The first one is with these white ties, which is just a lark's head loop, and so I can individually pull those tight. The second one is with the jute, and that is in a spiral lace. That is, neither one of these binding techniques are historically accurate. This one with the single tie is, but it should go to a peg. I can't twist with my wrists anymore, which is why I don't use pegs. Pegs are more efficient. You don't lose ground. My goal is to just follow this down and around. Easy knots to pull out. With this one, because it's starting to rip, I don't want to pull too much on that until it starts to firm up with drying. So that is something to consider. In period, they use stones, which tend not to pull out, which is really nice. I actually like using pebbles.